A clown, fraud, always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me, any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your
All right.
solution every
Hold
problem?
it. No, sit down.
That's why you're a clown.
Sit down.
Look at you.
You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can't, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough of contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like
it worse.
thugs and bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
And I don't like you, because you
Hold
just
it.
described yourself.
Hold it. You have the mic.
Yeah.
You have time.
All right.
Make your statement.
Then let's do this, because I did challenge you and I accepted your challenge, and you went quiet.
No, I didn't go quiet.
Hold on.
You challenged me to a cage match,
No,
acting like a
sir.
12-year-old schoolyard
Hold it.
bully.
Excuse
Sir,
me.
hold on.
Hold it. No, excuse me. I have the
I
mic.
will say exactly.
Senator
what you
Mullen,
said.
I have the mic. You have questions on any economic issues, anything that said, go for it. We're not here to talk about physical abuse.
You brought.
We're not
him
talking
in.
about, of course I did.
And let me show you his hearing, because I want to expose this thug to who he is. And
Could you not point at me? That's disrespectful.
I don't care about respecting you at all. I respect
don't
people
respect
that I
you at all.
respect. So
All right, hold
let
it.
me
Hold it. No,
You're one of
yeah,
100 of the most
hold
elite
it,
people.
please.
Act it.
Please. All right? This is excuse me. This is a hearing to discuss economic issues. All right? If you have
And welcome to American Mayor Confidential. I don't know how, but that was cool, wasn't it? I mean, come on. You got to have a little excitement. Bernie is too stiff. He's a stiff. And he's a peacenik, probably an old peacenik. You know, when the guys they smoke marijuana, and I mean, it would have been kind of fun. They could have. They have a big well there. That was a big well, right? It'd be like the cage, right? And Bernie could have been the ref and make sure nobody gets hurt too bad. I have a feeling the senator would take him real quick. He looked kind of fat and out of shape. And the senator looked like, wow. Whew. I don't think I want to mess with him, with that senator. He looked like he was for real. And notice, and I watch these things. Well, I used to box a long time ago. And I used to have street fights a long time ago. The guy didn't get up. When the senator got up, he's still sitting there. Anyway, babes, the senator got up. You go look at it again.
Yeah. Do you want to play the beginning?
Yeah, just play the very beginning. You'll see the senator gets up right away. The senator's ready to go. That guy's still there, jacket on. He's sitting there hoping these other guys are going to hold him back.
long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me, any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
oh, hold it.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your
All right.
solution every
Hold
problem?
it. No, sit down.
That's why you're a clown.
Sit down.
Look at you.
You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond?
Notice now. Okay, did you notice? He's sitting.
Yeah.
Senator's up. He's ready to go. He's almost across.
Senator stood up.
Senator started moving.
he was going to go
And he's
over.
sitting there like this. I don't know what I got myself into. Better take my glasses off. He didn't take his glasses off. You got to at least take your glasses off if you want to fight.
This might be my
I think that senator would. I don't think that guy would have gotten. Senator would have to grab him and pull him over the top like that. But I mean, that's really cool. I wish they had like a real man there, not Bernie. real. I don't mean that gender kind of thing. I mean it like,
I might have been willing to instigate it a little bit more.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
hey,
maybe-
son, maybe.
maybe we could do. I know what Trump would do. Trump would set up a match at
Trump would have
probably at Mar-a-Lago at the ballroom of Mar-a-Lago. They'll set up we'd have a nice match there. for charity, of course, for the veterans, like for T2T, or maybe they would think it was too controversial. Or for some of the just some very good charity. Those two guys could make money for charity, and we'd find out who's the big mouth and who's the real guy. I have a feeling I know where my money's going if you're allowed to bet on this thing.
I'm taking the senator.
Oh, it'll be like a 10-1.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think the
think so.
senator would be a 10-1. And I
Teams
think any really discerning odds maker and pugilist would realize that guy didn't move his backside. He just sat there and
he started to get nervous.
Well, he didn't move. He had those people around him at the desk in front of him, and the senator was willing to give that up. I mean, he was up and he was moving already. I tell you, looks like he's a Republican, right?
Republican senator, and that was a union guy sitting there.
Oh, of course, he's a
guy.
Republican. Democrats wouldn't have the guts to do that.
He was ready.
Democrats would just,
Are you surprised that Bernie was kind of like? I mean, Bernie Sanders once had two women rush the stage and steal the mic from him. Remember that? Do you remember when that happened? And that was what told me the difference between him and Trump, right? I mean, Bernie Sanders was playing for some of the populist vote, but he's the type of guy that lets others push him around. He let the DNC take down his campaign, right? The RNC, which they did to Trump, but the DNC did to Bernie.
No.
Bernie let it happen.
Hillary stole the election from him.
Yeah.
How about that? How about that Candy Crowley, right?
Candy Crowley. Yeah.
And she's a big dishonest person.
Yeah. She took out Romney.
But she also got didn't she get the questions for Hillary?
Yeah.
She gave
got
Hillary
it.
the questions before the debate. I mean, that's like Biden. That's the pure cheating. But they get away with it. It's amazing. These people are morally. Yeah. And then they pontificate. Then they pontificate and act like they're holier than everybody. And mainly they're a bunch of stinking thieves. But that senator looked like he was ready. Look, he's ready for action. But I think I'd be more than willing. We'll try see if we can get him on the radio show or
I'm
on
gonna try
this
for
show
tomorrow. Yeah,
and I'm gonna see if we can get a Teamster guy and we can set up a match. Dr. Maria, would you be the doctor for the match? You have to have a doctor for
Of course I will.
I used to watch these matches put together. My dad, you people should know that my dad was a boxer and took me to boxing matches when I was 7 and 8 years old, when you could get real close at the Eastern Parkway Arena and the Sunnyside Garden. Oh yeah, I got blood on me a lot. My father made me get. My father said the most important thing to realize when you box, first, what are you going to do when you get hit? Is that going to panic you? Number two, what happens when you bleed? And then what do you do when you go down? And you can't really tell if somebody's got it until you see what happens to them when that happens. And once you get used to it, you deal with it. But the first time, it's a little, nobody likes to get cut. I remember after all the practice, the first time I actually boxed, I said to my father, "Gee, I didn't think they hit you like that." I thought it was all one way. No, boy, no. Every time you jab, you're over. In any event, here's another little test that's going to tell you a lot. Trump and the press are in court with and this is it's really so unsatisfying when they have these judges, like in DC, where you can't get a fair trial, for anybody that's for Trump or me or anyone else like us. I mean, you can't get a fair trial. You know that, right? Any lawyer would tell you that, who's telling you the truth, like my lawyer. And so they're asking Judge Tanya Chutkan, who has already decided the case against Trump, I'm sure, if they will allow cameras in the courtroom. And of course, the press wants it and Trump wants it. Position is. He's getting ready. He's getting ready to frame him. Yeah, I want cameras in the courtroom. None of the prosecutors in the Soviet Union ever wanted cameras. None of the prosecutors in China want it now, or Iran. None of the prosecutors in Nazi Germany wanted cameras in a courtroom because you don't get you're not going to give them a fair trial. You watch this, you'll be outraged. You watch that jackass in New York carry on the case, and they're moving now for a mistrial. Things an outrage. The guy's valuation of Mar-a-Lago alone should dismiss the case. It's only worth maybe anywhere from 10 to 20 times. He evaluated it, and he was so damn lazy, he never really did any comparables. He's got a law clerk that has violated every rule, every law that is there to protect a judiciary and a case from political interference. $500 in the aggregate. She donated $3,000 to 20 different Democratic clubs, showing that she is a massive, obsessive, involved, partisan Democrat operative. She's not a law clerk. She elite for civil court while she worked for him as a judge, as a Democrat, partisan position. And she got signatures for the Democratic Party, and she worked for any number of Democratic clubs. And these are sleazy little Democratic clubs that she donated money to and worked for. All of it in violation of the rules that he's supposed to enforce against her. Instead, he has her sitting on his lap. The two of them hate Trump. The judge has published things like that. She has. At least there should be a pretense of a fair trial. This isn't even pretend fair trial. This is, we're going to give you an unfair trial, and then we're going to execute. Well, they actually executed him first. This is really interesting. They already pronounced they can take all his money away. Now they're having the trial. And every single thing that you can. And the case is a disgrace to a judicial system that is a disgrace. And that's the Supreme Court in New York County. The Supreme Court in New York County is nothing more than a creature of the Democratic county leader in New York County, just like the Queens Court is the creature of the Democratic boss in Queens, and the Bronx Court is similarly the same thing. I'll explain to you how they become judges. They are selected by the county leader of the Democratic Party in their county, and they are put on the ballot, and then they say they're elected. But like in a communist country or a Nazi country, nobody runs against them. So are they elected, or are they chosen by the county leader? They're chosen by the county leader. Judge Erdogan has, I think, run 3 times. Civil court, Supreme Court twice. He has never an opponent, which means he's a political hack. He's a creature of the county leader. And the county leader has made sure to insert a political operative right next to him to make sure that they really screw Trump. Even the appearance of that clerk sitting there on the bench with him, clerks don't sit on a bench with you. And she's not a clerk. She's a political operative. You look at her, look what she does. Look at all the money she donates. Look what she does with her life. Look how she ran for the civil court as a Democrat. So, I mean, I think that then you look at the rulings. The rulings are all completely absurd. Meanwhile, no way Smith wants a camera in that courtroom, because he can't get away with the usual unethical things that he does, for which, for example, in one case, he convicted a United States senator, ruined his career, and then the Supreme Court reversed it based on this guy's misconduct, Smith's misconduct, 9-0, but the senator's career was ruined anyway. Well, he doesn't want you to see all the unethical and things he's going to do and how completely biased Judge Chutkan is. I mean, they wouldn't have any of the January 6th trials shown because the railroad after another. How these people live with themselves, I don't know. But the D.C. District Court is a disgrace to democracy, to the rule of law, and to international justice. It doesn't exist. So Michael Cohen, you know how they prosecute Republicans for Foreign Agent Act they didn't register and nobody else gets prosecuted for that, or lying to Congress? Aren't they trying to do that to, who are they doing that with, Bannon or somebody or other? Well, how about this? A long time ago, Michael Cohen testified before the crooked House Intelligence Committee under Benny Thompson, who is about as dishonest as they come, and this will prove it. At the beginning, and this is after Cohen had flipped around, and from his point of view, he had now seen God, and he was telling the truth in order to get you to believe all the lies he told about Trump. So he testifies before the committee. Benny Thompson, at the beginning, gives a sanctimonious, hypocritical speech about if anybody lies, they're going to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And he used some very colorful term, like he was going to hang them or something. And then Cohen shows up, who is incapable of telling the truth. And I remember that he was cited by Jim Jordan and a group of others for about 8 different lies, all of which were clearly provable. The most dramatic of which, not necessarily the most important, but the most dramatic of which, that was clearly provable and actually ridiculously provable, was he was asked, "Would you ever apply for a job in the Trump administration?" And Cohen goes on and on. He never did. He never would. He would never wanted a job with them. I didn't want one. I wouldn't take one. Well, I knew that was on Trump's lawyer at the time because he asked me to help him get a job in the administration and about 20 other people. So I started calling the people to get them ready with affidavits and other things. And they'd say, "Yeah, of course." And then one of them said, "You don't even need that. Just go get by Cuomo 1 or 2 nights after the election where he says he wants to be chief of staff." I said, "Of course. My God, I never thought of that." So I go and we go online and we get it, and there we got it. And within about 1 hour of his testimony, we put up on the places that would do it, of course, ABC, CBS, NBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post. All of the communist publications would not publish this, even though it was pretty damn relevant and dramatic. But Fox did it, and Newsmax did it, and OAN did it. You see him say, "I never asked for a job. I wouldn't want a job in that administration under any circumstances." Next thing you see on the screen, you see his fat face with Cuomo. And Cuomo says, "Oh, you're seeking chief of staff, huh?" "Absolutely. And I think I am going to be chief of staff. Yes, the president and I have talked about it, or president-elect and I have talked about it. I will be chief of staff." It's straight out and out lie. And about 8 more. So one of the things he lied about, or one of the things he said during his testimony there, before the committee, this is before Thompson, the liars committee, because Thompson said he'd be prosecuted if he committed perjury. Well, he committed 8 acts of perjury, including the one I told you that's provable by television, and Thompson never referred him for a perjury prosecution because Thompson is a liar. He's also an election denier, which is even worse because he denies the 2016 election. Oh, you're allowed to do that. I forgot. He's a Democrat. He's in the golden circle that Adams has been thrown out of, right? So testified before the committee. He was also asked by the committee, did he ask me to inflate the numbers? Not that I recall, no. Now, last that Trump asked him to inflate the numbers. And he was asked by Alina Habba, excellent lawyer for Donald Trump, the following question. Mr. Cohen, were you being honest in front of the permit when you testified in February 2019? No, Cohen says. He wasn't being honest. So Alina says, so you lied under February of 2019. Is that your testimony? Yes. Where's the perjury prosecution by the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia? Only Republicans? This is a confession. This is what you call a confession. He confessed to committing perjury in front of Congress. I keep saying, people should be prosecuted for that because the congressmen, lie all the time. Who would think they'd have to tell the truth in front of Congress? I'm being facetious. It's a joke, a sarcastic one. But if you're going to prosecute other people for this, well, you don't have much testimony. The guy confessed. And then you got one on television. You got two now. You got him doing this, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Cohen is confessing. All right? This is long after the other crimes that he committed. It's like he's a new offender now. Of course he should be prosecuted for this. And every other perjury case in Congress should be dismissed if you don't prosecute this. Where do you get one where the guy confesses to doing it? Plus, then you got him on television. And if I don't remember the others, but there are 6 other lies that go along with this that are provable. Maybe not as dramatic as this, but easily provable. So you got about 6 or 7 lies in front of this. Of course, that committee was a completely corrupt committee. There's a committee that probably was a crime. It was a committee trying to remove a lawfully elected, well, at one point, they were trying to remove a lawfully elected president. And now they were trying to frame him. And we have justice here. This isn't a fascist country. A country that doesn't prosecute this because he's part of the golden circle of the people in power. He's in favor with the people in power. So he can commit blatant perjury. And people who are Republicans get convicted for marginal, questionable perjury. That is not a free country. That is not a country of laws. That's a fascist country. Among other things that this nitwit in the White House is doing to us, and why this fentanyl thing is completely crazy, is it's whether China contributes to it or not, it shouldn't be coming into the United States. The guy who opened all the doors is Biden. The doors are wide open. The last time Trump was president, there were
Sorry, repeat the question.
the last time Trump was president, 2020, there were 450,000
The question you've asked.
people who were apprehended at the border. In 2023 fiscal year, there were 2.5 million under Herr Biden. Is that different? Is there a difference?
I'm not, I was never the best at math, but I wasn't not bad at it. But that that looks like almost over 5 times as many.
Yeah, that's 2 million more people. That's 2 million more people. And the 2 million more are going to necessarily be even more dangerous than the 450, because these 450, a lot of them were vetted in Mexico. Weren't vetted at all except by the cartels. So that the 2.5 million basically are the selection of the Colombian cartels for us. So today, the other traitor, Ray of the FBI, did things I've ever seen. He was asked in front of Congress, and we'll get this for you tomorrow night. He was asked in front of Congress. This guy should be fired this guy should be fired the minute there's an ex-president like that, and then prosecuted. He was asked, why is it that there are, about 40 times more cases of people in this country who are suspected, and honestly, they're suspected Islamic terrorists, but we're not allowed to say Islamic. But I do. So come on, get me. He said he didn't know why. Well, the answer was sitting right next to him. I mean, it wasn't even like you had to think about it much. But he's a stooge. The head of the FBI is for the present administration. He allows his agency to be used the way the Stasi was used in East Berlin. It's used as an instrument of deprivation of human rights, deprivation of constitutional rights, raids where they, as far as I know, the FBI is not the army, but they dress up that way now. They dress up like, the stormtroopers and raid people, knives, frighten the living daylights out of their kids, whether they're Trump advisors or they're people who were 2 blocks from the Capitol, and somebody says they were involved, or they're part of the most dangerous group in America, white supremacists. We don't have to worry about China. We don't have to worry about. We don't have to worry about communism. We got to worry about the white supremacists. They really are. Man, they're killing people left and right. Ever take a look per capita? And how many people the white people kill? Ever take a look? You would just get proof that they're lying to you, but that wouldn't matter, because it is about lies. These are deliberate lies they are telling you to try to destroy our country. So we become what they wants us to be. Not America. America's a colonial nation. His father told him America was a colonial nation. Just like England, that's why he got rid of Churchill. Just like Israel, and that's why he's in favor of Iran. America's a colonial nation. And we'll all be part of one world. And, of course, certain people, everybody would be the same, except for certain people, the really, really very important ones who have to make the decisions like, you don't get to make it. Or if your child's a girl or a boy. You might think you had a little boy. They may decide you actually had a little girl, and they'll make it a little girl. They may or may not tell you. Am I exaggerating, Ted? Or am I writing a book like Orwell or something? I mean, or am I on target here?
Per usual, you're on target.
They're doing it right now. What I'm telling you now is not science fiction.
We're in the middle of it.
Yeah, this is what McAuliffe said a couple of years ago, right? The parents shouldn't have anything to do with education. They don't know anything about it. Only the educrats know about it. And they're doing such a good job that America has fallen from like 8th in the world to 27th under the teachers union.
The amount of young people supporting Hamas, this is a direct result of that.
Yeah, and they that Israel and Israel stopped occupying in 2005.
It's factually wrong.
Maybe the education should be turned back to the parents, and the kids would learn something, because And I know we have to say this, oh, there were a lot of good teachers. If you're a good person, you're not part of the teachers union because it's a damn communist institution that doesn't give a damn about kids. Hasn't given a damn about kids, I don't think ever, but it sure doesn't now. And whatever you want to say about the teachers union, they're failures. They're failing the children. Now, you want to blame it on the parents? Okay, the parents get a lot of blame too, but you sure don't get any credit. You're making more money than you ever made before. You're working less hours than any normal human being I know. I think you work 8 months. And you work what I consider to be a quarter of a day. Results in American urban areas. And all you care about is how much money you get and how many bureaucrats you can have. I mean, the amount of money that's wasted and taken and that thing. $36,000 a student in New York. Every penny it went up, the grades went down. Now they want to do away with the regents in New York. Do away with the regents exam. The completely communist Chicago thinks he knows how to evaluate schools, not by grades, but by how much money I give them. What? You're going to evaluate schools based on how much money you give them? Now, you've got to be a stooge of the teachers union for that one, right? You've got to be a complete puppet of the teachers union. You know that the people of, particularly the black people of Chicago, they want vouchers. They don't want you, the teachers union. This is a real exercise in brainwashing, where people are brainwashed to vote against their most important self-interest, their children. They are who are destroying the education of their children because they're brainwashed. They know what they need for their children. They need a system that is not controlled by the union, that allows for accountability, that allows for significant parent input, and that allows for significant competition. They have none of that. They've got a communist monopoly, and their elected leaders vote against what they want uniformly. And then they continue to vote for those elected leaders. That's a matter of brainwashing. And the ones who break out are attacked as Uncle Toms and whatever other garbage they use. It's all part of a communist tactic. Unfortunately, in this particular case, the victims are now, at best, a mediocre educated country. Our K through 12 system in many, many places is falling apart. I don't want to even discuss our university system when you look at what we've seen in the last couple of weeks. A few people like that, and it's more than a few. We got real problems. We got people running around supporting terrorist groups that want to come here and kill us. In our own country, we got people supporting it. And maybe your kid, or could school. Yeah. Among other things, to destroy this country, I had those numbers up there for you. The general FY 2023 numbers. See right here. That's Trump's numbers, 450. Now 2.5 million under the no president and the no border. We don't have a border. You can't be a country for very long without a border. But just in case you think now that we've gone into the new fiscal year that things have gotten better, October, we didn't break the record. The record was set in September. by, of course, doofus president. And that was 341,000 encounters in 1 month. October, it was only 309,000. Of which 188,000 had to be arrested for illegal entering, but are already been paroled. And 44,000 had come through one looking for asylum, of which no more than about 4% are entitled to it. So we are watching Joe Biden and his communist pals destroy our country. They are destroying it. The numbers left after he leaves office are going to be catastrophic. I don't know how many he's let in altogether. I mean, if you count it, it's about 3-4 million, right? The ones you can count, but you have the gotaways. And then you got the ones you never saw at all. The gotaways you didn't catch. And then beyond that, they're the ones you never saw. So I don't know. We could have 8 million people here right now. We don't know who the hell they are. Even the ones that we apprehended, we have much less information than we normally would have because we didn't know the way they were vetted by Trump. Remember when Trump wouldn't let people in from certain countries because the countries had too much terrorism? Or when he did let them in, they had to be vetted very carefully. That was done away with on day one. And you could see Ray today was saying he doesn't have the resources. The terrorists were let in. But then when he was asked, how did they get in? He said, I don't know. I can't tell because I'm a complete, I'm just a complete puppet of the Biden administration. I can't say the reason. Figured out this guy over here, Mayorkas, let him in. Of course, that's why they're here. They're all here because Biden let them in, jerk. He knows that. Of course, he can't say it because he's a sellout. And why do I feel so strongly about him? Because he covered up the hard drive for a year. He validated the hard drive a year before I got it and put it out. He stood by when Joe Biden lied to the American people in a national debate and said it was Russian. Joe Biden knew, validated 8 months before by the FBI. When he knew it was valid, he knew it wasn't Russian disinformation, and the FBI contributed to the lie with their leaks. And he sat by and watched it happen because he is a traitor. You don't do that if you're not a traitor. If you love this country, you do not let an election get decided on completely fraudulent, false information when you know that it's false and fraudulent. You don't cover up a hard drive that has on it bare minimum 50 or 60 major federal crimes. Crimes much more important than the garbage you're prosecuting. Crimes at the highest levels of crimes involving selling out to our biggest enemy. What kind of an American are you? You got a hard drive in which this guy takes $21 million from Red China, where the Sun tells with the spy chief of China, you're in charge of our intelligence, and you don't do a damn thing about it? You know where you belong? Where they want to send me. That's where you belong. And you're part of the fascist state. You're enabling it. You're part of it. You have destroyed one of the finest and greatest law enforcement organizations in history. You've soiled it. You've destroyed it. You've ruined it. And it will live in history because you're not getting away with this, Ray. You tried really hard to, but you're not getting away with it. Too many records, too much proof, too much in that hard drive. Nobody's ever asked you to explain why you covered it up. Nobody's even asked. I mean, that fat pig walks around going on television and nobody says, hey, Barr, you know, I'm thinking about this. How come you never did anything when they accused your boss of being a Russian operative with that hard drive and Giuliani of being a Russian pawn, and you knew they weren't. You knew the hard drive was completely legit. You got it checked out almost a year earlier, and you sat on it. And when he sits on something, boy, it really gets sat on. That makes him a crook. Makes him a dishonest man, thoroughly. It makes him a man who would act against the interests of his country for reasons that I don't know, to be popular in Washington. Maybe they have something on him. Maybe he can't take the pressure. Can't take the pressure or the kind of torture that the establishment, cancel. I mean, he is one of those law enforcement bar association types. And they are a big part of the problem. They're a big part of the thing about protecting the right to counsel. They've just let it get destroyed. No protest when my law office was raided, none, or any other Trump lawyers. Instead, they disbar me. So a lot of remedy has to take place, which is why we have to have a president who understands it. The reason I support Trump is because, one, we have to have somebody that can restore the government we used to have. Well, he ran the government we used to have, and it was pretty damn good. About as good as it's been in a long, long time. There's more employment, more minority employment. People want to know, why is he doing it? Because they remember under him, they had record numbers of jobs. Under this guy, they're suffering mightily. Inflation kills them. And you said, well, you don't know. Of course you know it. You know when you got to pay twice as much for groceries. You know when you get a raise and it doesn't mean anything. Biden did it to you in order to make us green, in order to protect us from the biggest danger that we face, according to Nitwit, and that's climate change. If climate change we face, there's nothing we can do about it. Climate changes no matter what. People ask me, do you believe in climate change? Of course I believe in climate change. Right now, Ted, what is it right now? It's still fall. But we're heading to winter.
Yeah, I'd say it's still fall.
But we're headed to winter. It's going to change. And then we're going to have spring. And then we're going to have summer. You see, climate changes. And you change the name to climate change because global warming was a big con job. So of course the climate changes. So what? And okay, it gets a little warmer. So we adapt to it. With the amount of money you want to spend on climate change, we could rebuild the whole world. And we could cure malaria. We could do all kinds of things. But then you and Gates, and you wouldn't make all those, like you wouldn't make Gore a big fat multi-billionaire. You may be fooling some people. You're not fooling all the people. So we had near record crossings in October. We had a record in September. Okay. The people we let in, only 2% of them in New York of the 160,000 that came through here wanted jobs. So don't fool yourself that they're coming here like, bring me your tired and your poor who want to come here to work their tails off. The Germans and the Irish and the Italians and the Greeks and the people from Eastern Europe and the Italians, the Greeks, and then the people from South America, people from Cuba, people from Haiti came here to work. Came here to work. Work. I want to work. What do you mean work? 2% in New York applied for work. 2%. I wouldn't wait for them to apply to work. I put them to work. First of all, I throw half of them out, send them to Washington, and deposit them with the czar. I know about czars because I've gone to the opera. Great operas, Russian operas about czars. Boris Godunov, vicious. We got a czar. We got Kamala Harris. She can take care of it. I'd send her 50, 60,000 of them. Got a big lawn, big house. Got a couple other houses. Stashed away lots of money as a DA and whatever the hell else she was. Doesn't look terribly honest to me. And none of those people are in San Francisco. Look at Pelosi. Pelosi became a multimillionaire with insider trading. And they just, it's okay for her to do that. Not for you. You go to jail. So I would send them all to Harris. And whatever ones we kept, they'd have to work. They'd have to work. And I'd put them to work for the city. If we're going to do anything, I did that. I did it already. So if you don't, it's like Trump. You know he's going to do it because he did it already.
Bingo.
You put him to work. I did it before, and it was enormously successful. Most successful welfare to work program ever, anywhere. It was 2 years before Clinton and Newt did it, and I borrowed it from the governor of Wisconsin. Great governor.
Great state.
Yeah, great state. We're going to win that state.
That should be one that we win.
In fact, we did win that state.
We're gonna win it again, I think is what you meant to say.
We wanted faux show. What are you showing me there?
I'm priming this video up so we can show the videos. This is happening tonight. It is 15th, 2023. This is live in Washington, D.C. These are what are being described as left-wing protesters, right? Anti-war. They're outside the DNC. And I'm curious and it's going to take a second here. You see it earlier, Mayor, when you see it up. You see behind the scenes with everybody else, so there's a couple minute delay because we have to upload these clips. But what you're about to see in just a minute here, I'll be curious to hear, Mayor, if it reminds you or anyone else of anything over the past few years. And I will be curious to know if the FBI will patrol across the country, and if
is the FBI actually doing this? Are they
no.
Doing the riot, or are they
no. These are left-wing protesters.
January 6th, I'm completely confused about because they won't tell us how many FBI agents were in there, and I can see a lot of them in there, and they won't tell us how many Antifa people. Text that tells me there were 265, but they don't admit it.
So we're on live, but those that catch this, a lot of people watch not live. This is Wednesday night.
This is a real riot, not an infiltrator.
Yeah.
This is not an.
Oh, shit. So look, I just got thrown. People getting thrown down the stairs. People getting thrown down the stairs. Yo.
This is the natural consequence of these riots and these things to go on and not police them and not arrest these people and not stop them at the earliest possible moment. First of all, I never had a riot. Never. I'd be damned if I'd have a riot. You're not going to riot in my city. On the street. Anybody on the street demonstrating gets taken off the street and put on the sidewalk. And I keep you on the sidewalk because you can't block traffic in my city. Because if you block traffic, you're going to kill people. In New York City, our streets have lots of ambulances going through, taking people to the hospital. And the amount of time that it takes to get to that hospital is a matter of life and death. I trained my all of my first responders in fast response. I added thousands of more first responders when I gave that big portion of the fire department. So we had almost triple the number of emergency responders who were trained medics. After a while, we were saving lives we had never saved before. We would have a ceremony every year thanking them for doing that. But critical to it was response time. And response time is determined by these animals are out in the middle of the street. Innocent person dies, and they can make their point on the sidewalk. And the minute they throw something, they get arrested. It never has to get to the point we're looking at. Never has to get to that point if you have a responsible police response. But that has to be a mayor who allows you to do that, who empowers you to do it, encourages you to do it, and has your back when you get criticized for it, and basically says to the press, nobody elected, and you don't know a damn thing about law enforcement. In fact, everything you advise on law enforcement is usually wrong, and I've been successful because I've done the opposite of what you advise. So I hope that works out. It looks very bad, and it'll probably be covered up because these are left-wing protesters, correct?
Correct.
So they're in the golden circle of not being prosecuted in the fascist country that Biden runs, where he has control. If we were in Texas or we were in Florida or someplace in a free country, then they would be dealt with in the right way. Or they're the anointed ones, and they're the ones who, if we don't stop this, are going to destroy our country, if they're not destroying it already. I mean, I really do believe that Trump can turn it around, but I am very fearful that with another year of this, God, please help us. So thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. We're back at 8 now. We're testing time so that we can make sure we get the maximum audience and the maximum outreach. And we stay in contact with each other going into next year. God bless you. God bless the people of Israel, people of the United States, and God bless America.